Hi, and welcome to a Hearts of Iron 4 video where today I'm going to be trying to do a world conquest of Germany. So why a world conquest, you might be asking? It's a kind of a random time to be doing Germany, especially considering Italy just got a new update. Well, there is an achievement we're going to be going for, buy beer alone, so there is some reason to do it in the current update, but also I want to get world conquered to 100%. And if there is any nation to do it as, it's going to be Germany. Not to mention the fact that there are still some medals and ribbons that I could be getting, and I feel like if there was any time to do it, it's going to be on a Germany playthrough. I can't say I'm going to be getting all of them, but I'm going to be trying to get many of them. Goodness knows how long this video is going to be. Let the world conquest begin. So, before we even get started with Germany, I just want to quickly see what the achievement is for buy beer alone. So to get buy beer alone, we have to own Budweis, Tsingtao and Guinness, which is the states of Bohemia, Leinster and Qingdao. Bohemia, of course, in Czechoslovakia, Dublin, located over here in Ireland, and the single state province of Qingdao, or however that would be pronounced, which is just that little thing there. Okay, so starting as Germany, we're not going to be doing too much of a dramatic start, just making sure we've got our infantry already and making sure we don't do Rhineland. Rhineland is going to increase world tension, and that is something I am desperately trying to avoid. So I think I'm going for a research slot. I think we're going to have a heavy focus on guns and artillery, especially at the start. And instantly we're going to start training up infantry divisions. We're going to have two navy core components. We're going to have our main battleships and cruisers in one part, and we're going to have our destroyers and submarines in the other, with Karl. So on the 4th of February we've got 50 political power, and it's on that beautiful note that we can begin a justification on Belgium. Belgium has always been a core component with Germany because you go straight past the Maginot Line into these wonderful open tiles where the panzers can just wreak havoc. Getting it early is super useful if you want to go up against France, and it might not be a speedrun strat, but it saves having to fight through the Maginot. In addition, with our 74 political power, we're also going to start justifying on France. Because who doesn't want a nice war with France? So Ethiopia and Italy are still at war, which is of course new with the new Buy Blood Alone DLC, and is quite important for how things change with Italy, because I've noticed they are much more willing to join the Axis if you're at war with the Allies now, even as early as 1937. Every day the globe seems to blow up just a little bit more. Oh, I do believe that's Belgium good to go. Let the war begin. I'm sorry, I was at war with Belgium. Switzerland decided to continue with the trial of Gustloff's killer. I'm not sure I care too much. Okay, that's as much as the Belgians are willing to push, which is fine. They can choose to do that. I'm afraid Belgium was quite outmatched in this particular fight. And there goes Belgium. So, we're in the current situation where in about 100 days we're going to go to war with France. France is now guaranteed by the Allies because 25% world tension. I'm afraid that's how it goes. But they're not in the Allies, which means it's just going to be France. And France has got a pretty big border to deal with, as well as their sudden desire to perhaps defend their African colonies. Not that I have any intention of fighting them down in Africa, but it's going to help a little bit with taking troops off the border. In addition, once we do go to war, Italy can join the faction. I don't intend to call them in, but I can join them in, and there's more borders that they're going to go have to fight on. And lastly, we're going to have to prepare a naval invasion for day one of the war to make sure we can take out these wonderful tiles here, and it appears they're abandoning Dover, so good on them. Okay, we've set up what should be a pretty interesting looking landing on Britain, Sea Lion for sure. I think we're going to have to pick up military police. Not necessarily that I need it now, but I feel like for a world conquest having them around is going to be a big deal. Also, can't we now bypass Rhineland, I believe, and go straight into Anschluss? Okay, let's see if we can't get ourselves a free Dora. I feel like Germany should have a focus to get a free Dora, considering Italy now has one. In terms of the Anschluss, they say yes. I've started Demand the Sudetenland, but I have zero intention that I'm actually going to get anything from demanding the Sudetenland. Oh goodness me. Alright, okay. Well, good luck everyone. Let the war begin. I do believe my naval invasions are going. Yep, we have brief naval superiority, but it is long enough to get the lads out. There's Italy wanting to come in, which they are more than welcome to do. And there we see our first interception by a navy. The French were the first to arrive. Still, shouldn't stop us from trying to make landing somewhere. 5 units right there, with Portsmouth open. Meanwhile, we've actually got a port near Norwich. Don't be fooled, just because I'm in a war doesn't mean more justifications can't happen, and they certainly are. This time against Luxembourg. Oh god. Is that 6 Ethiopian divisions in London? Oh jeez, we're not pushing through that anytime soon, are we? Okay, Portsmouth has been taken, which means my 24 bad units are now eligible to get to the British front and start pushing north. It's worth mentioning that this whole time I'm just playing on speed 2 to micromanage as many fronts as I can, so I have full control over everything that's going on. And I appear to be walking into Paris. Well done to this lad. I can even give him a medal for getting to Paris. Enjoy your better org. The fall of London. Oh no. Rest in peace, France. And no, I don't think I want a Vichy. So with this newfound army we can start solidifying other fronts that we might want to pick up while all this chaos is going on. Basically just clearing up Britain now to create a encirclement in Liverpool that we can hold while we get some justifications around the world. We did reassert Eastern claims, but do we think they're going to give me... Yes, they are. Right then, carrying on, I think we can do Danzig HOI4. Improved national spirit is very tempting, I don't deny, but Danzig HOI4 it is. We have been embargoed by Cuba. Why? Okay, there's Luxembourg done. How about those Dutch East Indies? I would love a Dutch East Indies. With our extra army that we had in Britain, we are defending all of the ports as best we can. Alright, there's the Netherlands. It's going to be awkward once I've declared war on most of Europe and I'm unable to take Liverpool. That's going to be the kicker in the end, I can imagine. There goes Northern Hungary. Good, 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 good. Next up, Yugoslavia. Since Switzerland is such a nightmare to get, we probably should do Operation Tannenbaum. I suppose. Poland refuses to cede Danzig. How dare they? -1 Hungary. These wars are so quick, it's not even worth showing the core of them. I basically just right-click capital, and then that's it, it's over. I think after this we might have to accept our fate. We are kind of running out of time for a lot of these fights. Yes, I do believe this will be my last war. We probably are going to lose some divisions here because I didn't field enough, but the old manpower isn't looking too good, especially with all the garrisons. The last of the manpower is gone, waiting on a small war goal. Okay, unfortunately our war goal against Poland actually expires in 2 days. So I think this one has to start right now. The one against Lithuania we can get going on too. Let's see if we can't improve the general national spirit and make everybody a little bit more smiley. That'll help, right? It's just occurred to me, why am I trying to fight in Austria when they've actually added this really convenient new impassable terrain? I just need to hold up to here and this tile here, and they can't stop me. Oh great, Croatia has been formed. We're going to have to wait for that thing to get capitulated because I don't want to deal with this thing. This thing is gross. Jesus. Into Switzerland we go, or at least try to annoy them. It could be the case that we don't even need Liverpool, and we can just take Scotland. Alright, Edinburgh's taken, here comes Glasgow. Make sure we get the Scottish Highlands. There's there. Oh, okay, what can we take? Any nation that is generally too small to be able to annex later on, I'm going to just take straight up. Things like Lithuania, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, all these really small countries, I just take them. South Africa comes into that too, as well as New Zealand. Next up, perhaps the most important thing I'm going to do is take the navy. Every navy. All navies. Any navy that has ever navied the navy is now my navy. To try and keep something of a decent looking Europe, I think I'm just going to annex Czechoslovakia. Same goes with Romania. They are a tricksy bunch, these Romanians. They'll swap sides at a moment's notice. So I think I'll be having them too. I can't decide what to do with the Raj. They're always a problem child because they increase their autonomy later on. I think I'm going to puppet them. Let's hope that wasn't a mistake. I feel like having Ukraine as a puppet is going to be good for when we fight the Soviets because it's going to give us some core territory we can work in. Same goes with Belarus. Canada shall be a puppet. And that leaves us with the UK and France. I am not going to be able to ever garrison that. I doubt I'm going to be able to garrison what I've taken already. I might have to release some stuff. Maybe Romania. But I can puppet them, and I intend to. And I think with that, I am happy. Confirm and exit. Okay, well the game didn't crash. We took many states, many things were annexed, puppets were created, and we've got the German Protectorate of Britain. I think that's a new name. To try and help with the burden, I think we can give some territory back to Ukraine. Imagine giving you territory back to Ukraine. What a novel idea. Okay, with 1937 basically over and done with, we've got a national spirit improving. We've got 2 nice-sized puppets, something to help us in the east once the day arrives. We now need to deal with the next big threat. That's going to be America. It's best to take out America as early as we can to not have to deal with it later, and we need to do it early enough that we're not caught in a war with the Soviets, which is going to be just annoying to deal with if we're still fighting over here. So the faster we get on with the United States, the better. We can also ask our puppets to help with the garrison support of Europe, because I certainly do not want to deal with this. Puppeting the United States is in effect going to be a game victory. After that point, it's just a matter of how long we can spend fighting things like the Soviets, the Japanese, and Italy. But yeah, when the axis is this big, it's pretty good. I think the time has come to stop building units with our men and start taking advantage of these puppets. Does anyone know why the Kingdom of Greece in historical is justifying against Albania? I mean, I don't mind, it spices things up, I'm just confused why it's happening. With all of these factories, we should probably actually build a supply line in Canada that will be capable of saving us from the pain we're about to witness. All the troops have decided to come to America and standing along the North Canadian border. I'm actually surprised how well we're doing for supply. There's only a few locations that are really struggling. I don't expect that to last once the pushing begins, but for the meantime I'm pretty happy with it. So in terms of the achievement by beer alone, which is kind of the reason we're all here, how are we doing? By beer alone, we control Bohemia, which is good after the first war. We should be able to get Ireland in the second war. And as for China, well, we could join Japan if we feel lazy, or we can just try and go all the way to the finish line. I'm happy to report that the Americans have decided not to build any more units for some reason. Okay, let's see how this war goes. How hard can it be? Make sure all our orders are green to go. And away we go, with a good amount of green to show for it. Oh dear, the fall of Washington. My naval invasion, I think, has landed. Ah yes. Okay, I think our main lines are about to connect up with the naval invasion in Washington, which can begin a small encirclement in the north, assuming we can make sure to push for all the ports. Otherwise in Michigan, I'm going to just try and secure the little peninsula. And as for the north and west, it's kind of just a bit of a slog. Okay, can we take down Iraq? While ironically taking down America. Kind of an interesting juxtaposition there. So next up we've got Ireland, and we need Leinster for Ireland, which is the core one here, so Dublin has to be taken. They appear to be abandoning a lot of their core cities due to the rate of encirclements just getting out of hand for them. I mean, we did kind of mob them when they had no units, so it's to be expected. Sometimes it looks like they're just encircling themselves. Like, what is going on here? I hope that tile was worth it. Yep, it doesn't look like it was worth it at all. Goodbye Ireland. Since Spain is so weak, having just finished their civil war, I mean, they've got no units, I can think of no better time to get ourselves a free Spain. Oh, and there goes Iraq. Okay, I think that's Spain good to go, and I would like a cheeky Portugal before the end. So the US are now standing on about, what, 5 troops, if that? Well, I know there's one here, and I can take that pretty easily. Meanwhile, in Iberia, we appear to have just started touching Portugal as our main units have arrived. Alright, let's get Denmark up and running. I do wonder how much of this I'm supposed to keep in the video, because it is, for the most part, a rinse and repeat process for world conquest of just 25-day justification, and then quick war, and just scooping up as many nations around the world. While Japan tears itself against China. Meanwhile, in Norway, okay, we are securing the Middle Eastern oil. The hardest war yet, it's Liberia. Yemen has become Noman. Italy demands occupation of Dalmatia. You know what? This is a rare occasion, but I'm actually going to give it to them because it's going to open up the front, making it a lot more easier to fight them. Having to fight Italy in the Swiss mountains and on the French Alps is a lot more painful than fighting them along this Dalmatian Strait, cutting them off and encircling a ton of divisions. Oh geez, war with Sweden. Alright, fair enough. Is that America gone? Okay. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. You can never be too careful. Truly, you can never be too careful. We were at risk of becoming in a very unfortunate situation. Okay, let's take all of their navy and then puppet the rest. Oh god, can we not take all? Are you kidding me that we cannot take all? What are we missing? Okay, let's create a colony inside that we can annex when we need to. Imagine getting this far into a conference and being told, actually, you can't annex the entirety of it. We're going to need to create this weird looking side state. Just for no reason. 185 days to finish what I started. Right, I say we leave this army here to deal with that. We'll have to stick that on a 185-day war. And get my actual army back in the east ready for the Soviet Union. That is an unfortunate delay, but it's what it is. Because we've now got the American puppet, things like the French puppet have kind of outstayed their welcome. The question is, do I really want to deal with having to garrison places like Africa when France does it for free? I guess I could do it and try and go for the reinstating of Luxembourg and Alsace-Lorraine. Oh good, Turkey. How on earth is Japan losing? Japan, you've had no aggression from any allies in the West. The democracy has failed. How are you losing? Okay, so I'm back after having a good night's rest because this took much longer than I expected it to, and I think I formulated the plan going forward. The key thing I'm trying to do, I think, is to go to war with America so I can get Finland and Iran in some kind of war, assuming they wipe peace out Finland, and then training a ton of divisions to make sure we can go to war with the Soviets, which I am now doing here. There's the Finnish and Soviet white peace, which means Finland is up for sale. Which is good, because I've already started justifying on them. Once this is done, hopefully we can start upon the focus for war with the USSR, because justifying is going to take too long. Next up Iran, and then Finland. We appear to have come to a bit of an impasse. The Soviet Union demands Bessarabia. I mean, I was intending to go to war with Finland, but if this is the case, they're making, they're not giving me too much of a choice. Let's just hope we can get to all our lines in time, I suppose. Don't mind me just casually reassigning my entire army to a completely different thing than I thought I would have to do. It's no biggie, it's no biggie. Romania rejects Soviet demands, even though there's no Romania. Uh-oh. I think we're at war with the Soviets. I'm seeing green here. I'm seeing some green over here. Although I don't know why these guys are still training. Probably not a good time to be training, lads. I think for the first time in forever, I'm going to call Italy, because if we could have any hope, it's with them. In the weirdest naval invasion I've done, I've invaded 2 countries in 2 separate wars with 1 naval invasion. I'd say the Soviets are putting up a good fight because I didn't properly put in too much work into my division templates, but the overwhelming odds and just the preparedness has been too much for them, I think. But you can see down here in the south where they were probably much more prepared for a war than I was. But at this point I have such overwhelming strength, it's like, are they really going to stop me? Really? On a completely unrelated note, because we're at war with a major again, it means that 25-day war goals are a thing. So goodbye Iceland. Alright, Leningrad has fallen because the northern pushes are just too strong for them to handle. And the front becomes simpler yet. I mean, I'm seeing a little bit of red from where there is bad supply, but for the most part, if you agree, there's mostly green bubbles here. So at this point it's like, I can leave this and I'm just going to go back to focusing on wars over here probably, and cleaning up little things I can find. I also think taking out Tibet might be nice, because, well, the Japanese are terrible, so I'm going to have to win the war over here for them. I say it before and I'll say it again. Every time you take a supply depot, make sure you build a railway to connect it up to your central rail network hubs. Sometimes that won't be the case when they're two separate nations, so it's important that you're doing it for them. I'm going to ignore this event. The Vyacheslav captured. We gain 3 German units in Armenia. Huh. You know, I've never seen this event before. I think the push I'm most surprised about is our one into like Turkestan, Tehran, or however we want to say it. There has been just consistent greens here where we have supply and they have nothing. Okay, we're getting mighty close to Stalingrad, and I don't actually have the Stalingrad achievement yet. So I do want to be semi-interested in getting it. Meanwhile, on the east coast of the Soviet Union, an unsuspecting American navy is guiding some American troops to land all the way over here in Vladivostok. Well, that puts a spanner in the works. I knew they'd declare war on me, I just didn't think they'd do it so early. Not to mention the fact they're not winning the war in China, which is typically a pretty important thing to do, and they haven't done it. So that brilliant German offensive I had made all that time ago is now useless. The good news is the actual Soviet front itself is quite literally a walk in the park. I have not even needed to bring tanks. All I did, in case anybody's wondering, is whenever you're struggling, stop. Just stop the front line and start building supply lines and rails, which is what I've been doing. And every time I come to an impasse, I get building on new railway lines. As you can see, I was even doing it in the north, just to keep the big train moving. Unfortunately, we got a little bit too powerful down here, so I've had to stop this line and start building a tree of network for supply. The fall of Moscow. You'd love to see it. I think in terms of what to do with this, it has to be mostly a straight up puppet, but I'm going to focus on getting all the little stuff first. What a nightmare peace conference that was. And for some reason I couldn't take this state, but I should be able to, but the conference is over. So, okay, so we got not much fun in Stalingrad, but the Soviet Union survives. Right, I'm now sending my main army all the way over to Asia, because I'm pretty sure that's where this game is going to end, with a war with China and a war with Japan. Here's another achievement we could possibly get while we're here. Isn't there an achievement to build a railway from like Gibraltar to Malaya or Singapore? So if I literally just drag my cursor all the way through Europe, through the Alps, through the Balkans, see if I can get it through there, down through Iraq, across Iran, into India, and down to Singapore. Do you think that disgusting railway I just built will get me an achievement? Ah yes, 480 rails. Perfect. We've begun our invasion of South America. Brazil is a major, so we're going to have to avoid that, but we can work our way around the west coast, maybe try and get Argentina, and that should give us a better front to deal with Brazil. Not too many puppets left to eat anymore. I think that America and Russia are going to be my last two, and I have no point picking a focus because we need all the political power we can to annex them. Alright, let's see if we can't get to Japan. We could lose a lot of good divisions here. Let's just all be very aware of the consequences of these actions. Well, I'm going to say that we successfully landed. with absolutely nobody here to stop me. There's nobody in Hiroshima, there's nobody in Nagasaki. There is some resistance on this small island, but nothing really. Around Eurasia in 80 days. I guess that railway finally built. The one I've been building over here. Good to see. Well, Japan just fell. That was pretty straightforward. I just walked straight through the north. We shall fight in the shade in a preparation for a war against Italy. We've got a lot of planes, let's put it that way. Okay, let's see what we can do about Italy. No guarantees on any form of success. Basically, because they've got all their units in places like Russia or down in Greece or in Turkey for some reason, they have no concept to actually defend mainland Italy, and I guess it's going to be over for them. I just stuck a few units in the Balkans to make sure they don't somehow sneak around into Berlin, but other than that I just don't care. Isn't there a medal to do with aces? I should probably do that one too. Aces high. Have 20 aces use the same airport. There we go. That is a lot of aces. Oh, now we've got that wonderful glitch where we can't actually see what wars are in anymore. I think you have to restart the game to fix that one. Uh-oh. Goodbye, Benito. And there we go. I think I shall be taking their navy, and my puppet will probably be taking the rest. Well, with that war won, we've gone from Italy to German Italy, I guess. Wait, a sudden shift in the wind has occurred. Because the Chinese have taken out Japan, the communist Chinese, Mao Zedong, has decided to go to war with China. Okay, I think this is it. It may be 1943. We should have 2 more years of World War II. Wait, no, November. 1 more year of World War II. So I guess we should make the most of it and start heading in right now. I'm also going to try and take advantage of supply so that we can hopefully get transport planes in to supply the region. The justification is complete. One last war. Everything shall be on green. Many invasions will be launched. Did I launch a naval invasion for Qingdao? Because that would be the Baibir alone, wouldn't it? If we take that. Oh look, it's the achievement. We can watch it happen in real time. There it is. Buy beer alone. That is what we like to see. Well, because I now have the achievement, I don't think I'm going to bore you by showing the rest of this. Maybe some final bits of me winning the war, but I'm certainly not going to show you me dealing with South America. So I'm going to have a quick time skip where I move to the final screen of winning. The final cries of China are silenced for one last time in the history books. And with that peace deal, I am happy to say GG. The world has now been conquered. Oh my goodness, that was a tiring ordeal, but let's go to playthrough overview. Now what does that mean? What does that mean? I'm going to let the game play a bit, see if I can get a few more medals, but that's basically it. I'm going to say that is a... There it is, 100% world conquered. Okay, it just needed some time to register. We've got many, many awards, and I could probably, you know, cheese out a few more while I'm here if I really wanted to. But yeah. So with that, I'll say thank you very much for watching. I hope this at least fixed some of my standing in regards to having done a world conquest at least once on this channel. If you liked, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and goodness me, that's many hours of my life just gone forever. Bye.